I'm sure that's probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio walked up to me. We were at the all-white party with Michael Rubin. Leonardo DiCaprio, man.
But he's a big hip-hop head, by the way.
Really?
Always. No, Leo's a hip-hop head for sure.
I didn't even know he was tapped in. That dude is like so amazing.
They be having these big-ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms, and you around and look in the wrong room and shit. Come here, come here. Is that two kissing?
So Leonardo DiCaprio has finally broken his silence after some explosive footage leaked showing his possible connection to Diddy's freak-offs. And you know this is major because Leo never addresses rumors, and he's known for keeping his private life under wraps. But it looks like Leo is panicking right now, just like the rest of these celebs who used to be regular guests at Diddy's parties. Now, rumors are circulating that Leo did some shady stuff at those freak-offs, and then some other sources are saying that this is turning into another Usher situation, meaning that Leo went from being a victim to a perpetrator. For some time now, rumors have been circulating that Leo was targeted by Hollywood predators as a young star, including former Nickelodeon dialogue coach and convicted offender Brian Peck.
Brian is the famous artist, and we always make fun of each other and portray each other in silly, satirical ways.
Leo's job on this set, for some reason, is to make fun of me all day long.
And now some sources are speculating that Diddy also targeted Leo at those parties and may have even spiked his drink and did something non-consensual. Remember, there was this inmate, Derek Cardello Smith, who recently won a $100 million judgment against Diddy after accusing him of putting something in his drink and graping him at a party back in the 90s. According to Cardello Smith, after Diddy gave him the laced drink, he told him that he'd get what he wanted one way or another.
I then went to get another drink, and Sean asked me if I needed something else. I said no, and he said, "Here, drink this one." And I thought it was another glass of Jim Beam, so I took it because I had sat one down in the other room, and then I drank some more, and I stayed sitting there and began getting drowsy and started to pass out. And then Sean Combs said to me, "I added a little something to it for you. I will get that from you anyway, one way or another." I then passed out.
And now, there's growing speculation that something similar happened to Leo when he was a young star, and that his strange obsession with dating women under 25 and his rumored DL lifestyle are basically the consequence of being victimized when he was just starting out in the industry. It's really starting to look like this is a common pattern in Hollywood where young stars are targeted and taken advantage of, and then they grow up and turn into their perpetrators. I mean, there are even rumors about Diddy being a victim of his mentor Clive Davis. And then some sources have even speculated that Diddy was targeted even long before he started working in the music industry, and that something may have happened to him while he was an altar boy at his local Catholic church. Diddy was reportedly an altar boy at Mount St. Academy around the time when Reverend Lynch was accused of some horrific crimes by one of their students.
Sean's mum and grandma raised him, but this is where it gets interesting. Sean went to Catholic Mount St. Michael Academy in the Bronx. Sean was also an altar boy, so he'd help out in the ceremony, whatever was needed. In the 80s, there was unspeakable things going on at Mount St. Academy. The FBI were even watching the school, mainly watching the principal, who was called Brother Brady, the chaplain named Reverend Lynch, who was there for 12 years, so the whole time Sean was there. Sean left in 1987. But both of them were charged in 1988. The principal was sentenced, but the Reverend, who was the chaplain, wasn't sentenced. Only one person came forward, and his name was John Schofer. He's in the film Garfield. He couldn't handle the court trial, so he left, and there was no further evidence about the Reverend. In the 90s, the principal got a similar job in Chicago, and the Reverend wrote a book and became the first Catholic priest to have a civil partnership, marrying in 1998 and legally marrying in 2017.
So yeah, as you can see, this rabbit hole is deep and dark. So let's look at the facts when it comes to Leo DiCaprio's connection to Diddy and his freak-off parties. What exactly is in that leaked footage that's got Leo so pressed he had to respond? So So in case you're not familiar with Diddy's infamous white parties, they were held at his East Hamptons home from 1998 to 2009, and pretty much every major celebrity attended these parties at one point or another. And now some new photos from these parties have resurfaced, with special attention on Diddy's favorite guest, Leonardo DiCaprio. A 1998 photo shows Diddy and Leo at one of the parties lunging on a bed and surrounded by champagne bottles. Leo is seen between a Tribe Called Quest member Jerobi White and another unidentified guest with Diddy sitting in front. But see, this wasn't just a one-off thing. Leo kept showing up to Diddy's parties and became a regular. He was last seen dancing at one of Diddy's infamous birthday events in 2019. And then when Diddy did that Vogue segment, 73 Questions with, and they asked him who was his favorite party guest, Diddy responded with no hesitation that Leo was #1.
Here, and I'm sure that's probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's #1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Now, what's also interesting about those white parties is that a lot of the same celebs who were mingling with Diddy at his Hamptons parties back in the day are now regulars at Michael Rubin's white parties. And Rubin is said to have taken over from Diddy in orchestrating those rumored freak-offs for high-profile celebs. Here's Leo at Michael Rubin's white party in the Hamptons in 2023 talking to Kevin Hart and Usher, who, as you probably know, is also rumored to have taken part in Diddy's freak-offs. And rumor has it that Michael Rubin didn't just step in as the main party host in the Hamptons. He also allegedly took over Diddy's alleged blackmail operation. Word on the street is that Diddy has been running a blackmail ring for years, kind of like an Epstein for hip-hop, and many believe that since Diddy obviously can't host any parties and probably never will, Rubin has now taken control. Now the big question is, did Leo attend those regular star-studded parties at Diddy's house, or was he Diddy's favorite guest because he stuck around for those rumored after parties, or freak-offs if you will? Well, here's where the story takes a dark turn. There's now growing speculation that Leo took part in some sketchy stuff at Diddy's freak-off parties. However, this is just the tip of the iceberg, and some sources are speculating that Diddy specifically targeted Leo for his parties because Leo was allegedly victimized by Hollywood creeps when he was just starting out in the industry. This is said to have left Leo with serious emotional trauma, and that made him a perfect target for Diddy's rumored honeypot blackmail operation. So as you probably know, there's been a lot of buzz on the internet lately about Leo DiCaprio's strange dating pattern. Leo will soon turn 50, and yet he still refuses to date women over 25, and even when he's dating these women, he never shows them any affection. The paparazzi photos always show the girl just standing there next to Leo while he seems completely uninterested in her. Well, there are a lot of theories floating around social media about what might be going on here. So some fans are convinced that Leo is just another Hollywood creep who targets women who are impressionable and easy to impress and manipulate. A lot of social media users have voiced concern about the fact that Leo met his ex-girlfriend Camila Morone when she was 12 and then started dating her when she was 20 and he was 43. One fan on X shared this post saying, "Daily reminder that Leonardo DiCaprio first met his ex-girlfriend Camila Morone when she was 12. According to W Magazine, they're all old family friends." And then another person commented, "Very alarming, but all I see people are making jokes about it, but it should be a wake-up call." And then you also have a lot of people who are saying that Leo is definitely a closeted man and these girlfriends are hired to help him maintain his image of a ladies' man, an eternal bachelor. Basically, these people think Leo doesn't actually have relations with these women, and the women allegedly sign a contract to play his girlfriend in public. These rumors about Leo's alleged DL lifestyle have been swirling around for literally decades, and many sources have claimed that Leo has been in a committed relationship with actor and musician Lucas Haas for years. Leo is gay. It's an open secret in the industry, one fan said. He outed himself 2 years before Titanic's release during a movie's press junket. His talent agency freaked out, and that's when he started to hire models as beards. He'll never come out and doesn't want a lavender marriage. And another person wrote, "I actually read that the reason why he can't come out is because openly gay actors get cast only in gay roles, and that would hurt his reputation as a heartthrob and would limit his character range." There's also this clip that's been making the rounds showing actors Neil Patrick Harris and John Cameron Mitchell and musician Stephen Trask talking about homophobia in Hollywood. And at one point, Trask mentions how movie studios have been hiring fake girlfriends for Leo DiCaprio.
Right. When we were talking to a company that wanted to produce, before Killer, a different company that wanted to produce the film, and they had a record label, and the woman who ran the record label suggested to my manager, Steve, who's sitting over there, that, and this is her words, and so I'm not slandering anybody or whatever, but she said, and you know, if Steven wants, we can get him a girlfriend like they do for Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't know what that means.
I don't I understand. And so
That's a misstatement on so many levels.
I know. Yes, well, she used to also introduce herself by saying that.
So that Brazilian model who was at your house that time, it all makes sense.
But there's another side to all this speculation about Leo's love life, and a lot of fans have been wondering if something traumatic happened to Leo as a young star that left him with all this shame about his sexuality. See, over the past few years, there's been a lot of public interest in exposing the dark side of Hollywood, and a number of former young stars like Corey Feldman, Jeanette McCurdy, and most recently Drake Bell have started speaking out against Hollywood creeps and the system that protects them.
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah. Not in the same way. It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about it.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh yeah. I was surrounded by them when I was 14 years old. Surrounded. Literally. Didn't even know it. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
Vultures who Feldman says abused him and his best friend, the late child actor Corey Haim, his co-star in The Lost Boys.
Well, what happens if my mom is dating the head vampire?
Feldman says the trauma of that contributed to Haim's death.
Now, as for Leo, he started acting when he was just 5 years old, and since he grew up poor and lived in a rough neighborhood, he was determined to succeed by any means necessary.
Bug addicts in my alleyway. There was, I got sort of robbed at 5 years old or something like that.
5 years old?
Yeah. It was a pretty hardcore neighborhood, and I think that gave me a lot of motivation to sort of I think be successful, really, and try to...
Leo's determination certainly helped him succeed. However, it may have also made him vulnerable to the sick creeps in Hollywood who love to target young entertainers who don't have a strong family support system. There's one name in particular that gets brought up in connection to Leo's rumored trauma from his early days in the industry, and that's Brian Peck. Peck used to work as a producer on Nickelodeon alongside his close friend, disgraced producer Dan Schneider, and in 2004, Peck served a prison sentence after being convicted of some despicable acts. The court documents obtained by Daily Mail Online show that the offenses happened at Peck's home, where he was coaching a young actor whose parents reported Peck to the police. Peck was originally charged with 11 charges, but the crazy part is that he spent just 16 months in prison. As for Peck's victim, he was only named as John Doe in the court documents to protect his identity, and then there were rumors that this John Doe could have been Leo since he worked with Peck on the 80s sitcom Growing Pains. Now take a look at this creepy interaction between young Leo and Brian Peck on a movie set.
Brian is the famous artist, and we always make fun of each other and portray each other in silly, satirical ways.
Leo's job on this set, for some reason, is to make fun of me all day long.
Now fast forward to the explosive 2024 documentary Quiet on Set, and Nickelodeon star Drake Bell, who worked with Brian Peck on The Amanda Show, was confirmed to be one of his victims. And according to the documentary, after serving only his 16-month prison sentence, Peck returned to Hollywood like nothing happened and continued working with young actors as a dialogue coach. In fact, Disney even hired him to work with actors on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, despite knowing what type of acts Peck served time for. And this just goes to show this problem is bigger than just a few creeps in Hollywood. And it looks like there's an entire system in places designed to enable these horrific acts against young ones. So all this is why some fans have been speculating that something really bad happened to Leo when he was a young actor. One fan said, "I think Leo can be a creep, and we can also acknowledge how the trauma of being a child actor stunts your emotional maturity and ability to date. Both things might be true." And then another user connected the dots between these rumors about Leo being a victim to the ongoing speculation about his connection to Diddy's freak-offs, saying that Diddy probably targeted Leo for his parties knowing he would be easy to blackmail. The fan wrote, "Diddy's favorite guest at his gay honeypot parties was said to be Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo just so happened to be fondled by Drake Bell's future speech coach when he was just a child. You know, the one who was pen pals with a serial killer clown, Brian Peck, from the now infamous Quiet on Set exposure documentary. What impeccable timing. Here's Leonardo DiCaprio with Drake Bell's essayer Brian Peck on the set of the movie What's eating Gilbert Grape. This PDF file says a young Leo is the latest, hottest, hunkiest teen idol there is as he caresses him. And now we have Diddy claiming that Leo is his favorite guest at his gay honeypot parties. Was Leonardo DiCaprio groomed as a child? And then someone else wrote, Leo DiCaprio was a VIP at Diddy's parties. It's the cycle of the becoming the abuse. Remember, Leo was passed around long before he was ever at a Diddy party. Exhibit A DiCaprio with Brian Peck. But what does Leo have to say about all these theories about his connection to Diddy and those freak-off parties? Well, you know how Leo usually never addresses any rumors about his private life? However, for some reason, he wasted no time shutting down the speculation that did some sketchy things at those freak-offs. After those photos of Leo at Diddy's infamous white party resurfaced, Leo decided to break his silence via a spokesperson and finally addressed rumors that he took part in Diddy's freak-offs. So Leo is now rushing to distance himself from Diddy's whole situation after a picture of him at one of Diddy's white parties started making the rounds online. A source close to Leo immediately issues a statement to the Daily Mail, insisting that Leo hasn't been in Diddy's circle for years. And despite Leo being filmed dancing at Diddy's birthday party as recently as 2019, the source claimed that Leo has not been in contact with Diddy for a very long time. The source also insisted that Leo never attended any freak-offs and said that Leo has nothing to do with the criminal case against Diddy. Leonardo DiCaprio has absolutely nothing to do with any of this, the source said. He attended a few of his parties back in the early 2000s, but literally everyone did. They were not freak-offs. They were big house parties. Leo was at the start of his career at the time and has moved way past his partying. He has nothing to do with any of that world. So for anyone to assume that he will get roped into this based on a few grainy photos that are more than 20 years old is ridiculous. The source added, Leo is focused on his career and his relationship and is not at all thinking about Diddy's federal case, which he has nothing to do with. However, you already know people online are not buying this, and they're saying it's a little too convenient how all these celebs who used to be regulars at Diddy's parties are now acting like they never saw or even heard about anything sketchy happening. One fan said, nothing to do with him for years? Sir, you were at his 50th birthday party 5 years ago. You saw nothing and knew nothing? You were #1 on his guest list. Leo is sinking like the Titanic. And another person added, it's about time we hear about the skeletons in Leo's closet. Enough with his environmental nice guy who only cares about making movies and preserving the earth shtick while constantly being photographed on yachts with an 18-year-old fresh out of high school. But what's your take on Leo's connection to Diddy? Do you think he really had no idea about those freak-offs, or are we yet to hear the real truth about Leo's role in all this? And how do you feel about those rumors that Leo went from victim to perpetrator? Leave all your comments below and make sure you stick around for this next video.